Or you got this red alert.
Captain on the bridge.
Alright, captains, we are back here on the bridge, and today, finally, we get the stats for the 13th anniversary bundle. So on screen. Yes, so captains, we just finished watching the 10 forward stream there, and we just took a bunch of screenshots, some notes here, and as you can see there's one of the ships there. It's the Taran Eagle pilot Raider. So, but before we get more into this video, do us a favor, captains, like it and also subscribe here to the YouTube Bridge, as we're always on the lookout for like-minded captains where we can share our love, passion for Star Trek Online, but also things Star Trek. But with that said, here we go. Now, they went over the ships. Like I said, I just took some screenshots, but they also just kind of went down with the, just kind of mentioned the details of the bundle, and we'll do that right now before I forget. So I'm just going to read this. I just took some notes here. So the 13th anniversary bundle is going to be 17,500 Zen. And of course, for the initial release, it's going to be 25% off. And if I did my maths right, if I calculated it correctly, if my calculations were correct, we're looking at 13,125 Zen for the complete bundle. Okay, and of course, that's going to include the Eagle, the Sirius, the Hydra, and the Monitor. And then those are the new, quote-unquote, new ships. And then, of course, we know that the crossfield does come with it. And now, of course, they added the sticks. Funny thing of note, they tried to play it off that it was totally planned ahead. But Kale did mention on the stream that it was something he messaged the team about this weekend. And I'm pretty sure it was because of the initial reaction of the bundle. So there you go. It's not 5 ships in this bundle. It's going to be 6. But for the same price as last year's bundle. And yes, these 4 ships, the Eagle, Sirius, Hydra, and Monitor, will be able to be purchased separately in the Z store. Okay? So with those 4 ships, they're also going to have exclusive Taran skins unlock. And Thomas mentioned exclusive only to the bundle. Okay, and of course, the crossfield sticks are locked to that bundle. The extra fluff stuff is what it's going to come with is going to be 1 tier 6 ship coupon and 3 exclusive items that are locked to the bundle. First one is a universal kit module. It's called a Warp Bubble Ruptures. Second one is a Beverly Boff. We knew that was coming. Or that was one of our guesses, I should say. I thought it would be more. Maybe even Emperor Wesley, Leah, that would have been really nice. And of course, the Taran EV suit. So the first episode in the arc where we saw the Emperor, when we didn't know it was the Emperor then, that suit is going to be also the exclusive to the bundle. And all of those are account unlock, which was confirmed by Kale while he was streaming. The other fluff is 6 starship slots, 6 upgrade tokens, so the T6X upgrade tokens, 13 ultimate tech upgrades, and of course 13 master keys. So of course a 13 theme, that's what they're going for, but that is what is in the bundle itself completely, and we will reserve judgment until the end. Actually, the blog will be releasing tomorrow, and captains, you know, we'll go over this again tomorrow, but we're just going to do a quick little video here initially reacting to what we just witnessed. So first things up is the ship here. We're going to look at, there's about five images that I got per ship, and the first one here is the Taran Eagle pilot Raider. I mentioned this before in the previous videos. The Aquarius is not really something I am attached to, but having said that, and there was a comment about or a question if the Aquarius was going to be seen in the Picard season. And I think they kind of said no, but Kale said that they did send the specs over of how it works docked into the F. He said never know, but you know, my thinking now is, you know what, in a sense, this is a canon ship. So am I leaning towards this? There's a maybe. Now, this does have some unique features to it, of course, because it is a new T6 ship. So Thomas took the opportunity, and apparently this is the ship that Jonathan was really happy about in terms of how it came out. But as you can see here, so it had the question was asked by Caleb. This was actually intentional in terms of the loadout. Yes, it does come with all torpedoes. So at the front, you got the 5 torpedo quantum launchers. I'm like, that looks like my build. And the aft did also come with a torpedo. Now, he mentioned that this particular torpedo there, the second one there on the left, is the quantum phase, but apparently it's not locked to a set. It comes with the ship, so that's kind of cool. So it's going to come with a quantum phase torpedo. So that, but the thing is, you could probably upgrade that, hopefully, but we'll see. As you can see there, it is a 5-1 and it has an experimental weapon. We're going to go here to the next slide here, just to show off. Again, this was kind of just taken as we were going through. So that experimental weapon is called the Subspace Depth Charge. So again, we'll go over this more quickly. So it's a Tetrion damage and shield drain. And I think the visual on this looked almost like a quantum torpedo, but of course kind of a bubble animation, but we'll hopefully see some more images of that. Nothing too attention grabbing for me personally. If it was up to me, I would put either the quantum warhead module or the dual quantum launchers from the Adamant, I should say, that looks like quantum torpedoes on this if we were to get this. But as you can see there, the end slots is 2, the psi is 4, and the tac is 5 there. Again, interesting little configuration of a ship there. Then we'll go over here to the next slide, and we'll see there that the Starship Mastery trait is the Stealth Torpedo Bomber. Kind of interesting. So using pilot maneuvers or being cloaked grants torpedo spread. So anytime they use that, you're going to get another click. So first thing I came into my mind is you use this with pilot moves, and then you also use entwined integral matrices. So you're going to have like torp spreads for days. So that sounds fun to me. I don't know, that sounds fun. So each second cloaked adds 1 stack. This for 45 seconds using pilot maneuver adds 5 stacks for this for 45 seconds. When at 10 stacks, instead it applies the torpedo spread 2 when firing mode for 30 seconds. It clears stacks. Stacks still apply while torpedo 2 spread is ready, banking up to an additional 10. So torpedo goodness. It sounds like it's going to be a little fun. I don't know. I'm still on the fence of this ship. Definitely 100%. I'll say this right now. I don't think I'm going to be getting the bundle because I don't need a Taran Sticks. I don't need the Crossfield because I already have that in the 10th anniversary bundle and I barely use it. So I think we'll be concentrating if we're going to be getting these 4 individual ships themselves. And the other fluff there, of course, the Beverly Boff, that sucks, it's locked there, but I don't really necessarily even use my Boffs now that I have exclusive ones like Janeway and all the other ones we've received so far. So it's nice to have, but it's not going to be a game breaker for me. With a kit module, we have already a bunch of kit modules. EV suit, I'm not really a space Barbie captain that I switch a lot of my costumes all the time. So again, that's a trait. That sounds like fun, I'm not going to lie. So that may be leaning a bit to the yes. So next up here, we have the stations for it. as we can see there, it has a commander pilot and a lieutenant commander command. So torpedo goodness confirmed. And the rest are universal seats, whereas a lieutenant commander, a lieutenant, and a ensign universal seat. That seems like you can have a little fun with in terms of what you want to do with builds. Of course, we did test the powers recently, and it seems that there's something we can possibly use with this if we were to get it, to have it as a torp boat, obviously, and then using along the other two powers for pilot. But we do have a video of that, and that'll come out hopefully soon. But there is a station there. Again, any configuration of stations doesn't really matter to me. It's not going to be game breaking to me personally. For me, for command, as long as it has concentrated fire power 3, I'm happy. And then of course that whole pilot revamp there, this is why it is a pilot ship, and this is the one that he is very happy about. So there's that. Go to the next slide here, and then what we can see is them showing the ship off. I was just at the beginning of the stream, but I caught it there later. The pilot in ESD there, and it looks kind of cool, not gonna lie. It has different nacelle configurations, and apparently this has animations that when you do the pilot maneuvers, the nacelles kind of tuck back into position towards the ship, and then when you come out of it, it tucks out. So that is pretty cool. So this is on the maybe at the point caps, not 100% sure, but again, this is just initial. Tomorrow we might feel better after a night's rest. So next up here, we have the Monitor. So the Taran Monitor Miracle Worker Carrier. So it is indeed a carrier, and look, lo and behold, it does come with 2 hangar pets. So that's kind of cool and interesting, I'm not gonna lie. The Battle Pancake gets a little bit of a boost here. And these Valkyrie fighters are the Taran version of them, but nothing different from the regular versions. They just have the Taran skins. That's it. So nothing too different there. As you can see there, it is a 3-3. No sec def. That is interesting. There's no sec def on this ship at all. So you would think with the Nebula they would, but the whole Taran thing. So interesting. They took the sec def away, but they gave it hangar pets, 2 hangar bays. So that'll be, again, something that to think about. Like I said, mentioned before in previous video reactions, we were leaning towards this one anyways because of that. So there is that. We're gonna go to the next slide here. Next up, we have them going over the actual console. So it's the automated heavy Tetrion emitters. It's plus 28.5 Tetrion damage. Not going to be a lot of use to me personally, because I don't like Tetrion damage, and that's only just visual. That's it. That's it. If the Tetrion beams were something that I liked, I would use them, but I don't, especially on Federation ships. So, but it also gives plus 28.5 Starship Drain expertise. It's an automated heavy Tetrion emitters. So for 2 seconds, for 20 seconds, to 2 random foes, 5,927 damage. Of course, that'll change on your ship, depending on your build. An additional 1,637 shield drain. So any of the shield changes that had happened recently, that doesn't apply to the NPC. So, but there is a theme here of the console, not a game breaker for me. The interesting for me about this so far is it having the hangar pets. So there's that. Next up here is them talking about the actual trait itself. So the Tachyon Piercer, if I'm not mistaken. So Tachyon Beam chains deals damage and strips buff. So Tachyon Beam will chain to nearby foe. Each pulse, main beam and chain deal an additional 478 radiation damage. 100% shield pen. Main beam and chain remove 1 buff from the target. So nothing crazy there for me personally. I would say the pilot, the Eagle ship there, wins out in terms of traits between these two. So now we're going to head over to the stations, And yes, it is a Miracle Worker. So Miracle Worker temp. So the temporal seating is Lieutenant Commander when Miracle Worker is a full commander. And then you have a Lieutenant Commander TAC, an Ensign Engineering, and Lieutenant Psi. Nothing too crazy. Of course, this would be something of a beam boat, but you could also make it, or I would make it, you know I would make it, a torpedo boat by going recursive shearing 3 and a high yield 3, and or depending, I'd go use assault formation theta for the high yield 3 and or torp spread 3. And then the Miracle Worker, in terms of that, again, you can make this an energy boat if you want, and I would use the destabilized warp core power because I like the animation of that. So something interesting. Again, it's like I said, mentioned before, stations doesn't really matter to me that much as long as I have access to certain powers. I'm okay with this, and I am okay with this. We can make this work if we do decide to get this ship. So the next one I have there is just a shot of them again at ESD, showing that off, which we saw already, but now this, of course, we saw it when they was kind of in the game, but they showed it off with the new ketchup Taran skin there, which looks okay, I'm not gonna lie. But of course, you can use the Battle Nebula, the Nebi skin there as well. Next up, okay, captains, you know I've been tripping over this ship, and I'm not gonna lie, this sort of kind of threw me off in terms of visuals of how thin, like the profile of it from top to bottom is really thin. So good thing we can use the regular Prometheus skin. But I think also it was mentioned on the stream that this is supposed to be a 5.2, not a 5.1. And we'll wait, of course, in the vlog and see that. But Jonathan mentioned that in the stream that was sort of a bug there. So it's the Taran Hydra Intel Destroyer. Yes. Now, this one, of course, we took the first picture here with them showing off the console. That's actually when we came into the stream, when we caught it there. It's called the Harmonic Yield Distribution via Radial Aperture. Try saying that 3 times fast, caps. So what this console does, that's the console that comes with the ship. It's 30% turn speed, flight speed, and damage for your hangar pets and targetable torpedoes. 20% increase cannon damage. Interesting. So for me personally, whenever I build this ship out, I do not put cannons on it, because on the show we saw the Prometheus, the very brief little pew pew scenes, it was phasers and torpedoes. I don't think I would still use it, but it's there for you if you want to. Would we use cannons on it? Maybe because it's a Taran and we can, you know, kind of think in our head it's a Taran and they modified, sure, but that's there for you. So engage the Hydra. So what it does, it brings pets to self, fire cones of phaser damage, stops the ship briefly and teleports pets in front of it. The ship and all pets perform the following attack. To self, after 3 seconds, applies engage the Hydra to random target. So that's 7,112 phaser damage. That'll change depending on, I believe, your phaser, how you build out your ship. The ship itself fires 3 times, as do any separated ship sections, such as multi-vector or saucer sections. So this is, of course, talking about the Galaxy. So apparently this is a baby MVAM mode. So the ship does not come with an integrated MVAM, a multi-vector assault mode, but I think that was a missed opportunity personally. Would have been nice if they put that in there, but all this is a baby MVAM because it's locked to 60 seconds, and it's only locked to the Prometheus variant ships only. So multi-vector assault mode limited, separate into multiple sections to aid you in battle, all that there. So when you are in the MVAM mode, you see all the minus that it gives you there. And of course, after the 60 seconds, it then actually reintegrates you. I don't necessarily mind that. It's 60 seconds. You can obviously after hit it again. It doesn't matter to me personally. I will always use the MVAM on my Prometheus because that's the whole point of the ship. It's supposed to split into 3 pieces. Again, if this console did 1 DPS, I'd still use it. And or if this console didn't do anything, I'd of course go back to the original. But it does do something. It does actually give a little bit more boost to your pets, and of course targetable torpedoes, and then it increases your cannon damage. So cannon captains will be happy with that. I already have a little bit of an idea what I could do with this. I'm still definitely going to get this. I said I'm going to get it. The visuals threw me a little off, and how skinny it was, how thin it was. Not like, yeah, so, but it is what it is. So we're going to go here to the next slide here. You can tell I like this ship because I'm talking about this a lot longer. So the next up is talking about the experimental weapon that it comes with. So it's armed loitering munition. So what does it do? So a armed loitering munition, deploy phaser pet and detonates on foes. Deploy an armed loitering munition drone for 30 seconds. Drones probe foes with phaser fire. So it just kind of pesters it with phaser fire, kind of a cannon damage animation when I was looking at the stream there. The duration expires when a phaser finds an empty shield facing. It slams into the foe for target for 4,801 kinetic damage. That is the experimental weapon. I don't think that's too bad sounding, or at least even visual wise. I can get behind that because it doesn't actually fire anything from your ship. It fires from that little pet that it spawns out. So that's an interesting thing. And of course, it'll just keep respawning there. Again, I would probably use a different experimental weapon, but of course, when we get this, we will definitely use that to just try it out. See, just for fun and to keep with the theme. You know, captains, and you know we like to keep themes here on the bridge. So next up, we have, again, the trait. We're going to go over the trait here. So it's called Strike Group Command Authority. Does kind of sound cool when we're just saying it. Strike Group Command Authority. I like that. So pet bonus is based on strongest pet. So affects friends. Bonus damage for pets. I don't know why it says affects friend. For pets based on the strongest pet. So if it's a fighter, it's plus 30% bonus damage. So bonus usually means cap 2 damage. And if it's a frigate, it's plus 40% bonus damage. If it's the multi-vector or saucer, it's 50% bonus damage. So this is going to help a little bit in the pets, especially when it comes to the Prometheus and the Galaxy. Sounds like fun. Probably definitely something we'll build around when it comes to taking this ship out for the pews. So next up, we have the stations. Here we go. So again, it was a full commander intel, and then it had a lieutenant commander eng pilot. So again, we can make this work in terms of what we want to do in our pews, visually at least. But again, we'll kind of get into that in the other video because we did test out the powers there, reroute power to weapons and the reinforcement squadrons. So again, just for fun, nothing game breaking. We still were able to get through our pews, but as we can see there are 2 universal stations, one being a lieutenant commander and one being ensign, and of course you have a psi that is a lieutenant. So I don't have my Torp Goodness pews, which is kind of weird that you sawed off the nose and then had those launchers there, but it's okay. We can still make this work. We can always make things work for us. And of course there is the image of it in ESD there when they were there. So it is a very, very skinny, thin looking ship. There's no extra armaments on it other than the sawed off tip there on the saucer. The nacelles, like I said this before, I don't like, so we would probably go with the configuration of just the Prometheus. Now we won't have access probably to the Taran skin because that's exclusively locked there, I think they said, but we'll see. I'm not too tied to the Taran ketchup or Taran mustard look, so that's not really a game breaker for me for this ship. I just like the Prometheus. We're definitely getting this one. So the next ship up, the last of the newer ships, this is the Taran Sirius Command Dreadnought. I don't know how I feel about this yet. It is command, so you captains, you know I like command, but it is a 4/4. and it does have a hanger, so it does have that going on for it. I'll just go to the next slide here quickly. Now, in terms of the console, this is what it comes with, and of course, like I said, I just took this while they were streaming there, so there's a little ad there at the bottom. But if you like organic cocoa powder, there you go. So it's called the biaxial graviton impeller. The names of these are just absolutely ridiculous, but they sound cool. So what it gives you is a plus 21.4 starship shield restoration, improves shield healing, and plus 15% shield capacity. They like shields, they really do. So it's a biaxial graviton impeller, area kinetic damage and repel, then shield leech on activation. Cone AoE from each shield facing to foes up to 14,705 kinetic damage, 50% shield pen based on current shields, percent of each shield facing, and repels them away. Higher magnitude at closer range. To self, drains shields to 0 to self for 15 seconds. 12% of outgoing damage from energy weapons applied as shield healing to self. Just sounds like a console that we probably won't use, if I'm going to be honest. The visuals was okay, but it's not going to be something that we are going to mess around with. We will if we decide to get this. I'm still not 100% sure. And when I get these, it'll be just one ship at a time. I'm not going to get all 4 of them because I can't fly all 4 of them at the same time. So I'm not too worried about that. Go to the next slide here, and we have a look at the trait, and it's called the best offense damage buff from high shield percent. So increased energy weapon damage based on current shield percent above 50%. Current values, of course, plus 19.2% all damage with directed energy weapons, and that sounds like it's just a Cat 1 damage, I believe. I think that's what Jonathan mentioned in the stream. Not really too, because shields really go away anyways, but maybe with, RSP and or energy powered shields, that could be something that you can use. It just doesn't sound something that would work for us in terms of how we build our ships. But for fun, why not use it if we get this one right here? So that is the trait off of it. Now we head over to the stations, and this is what we got. So it has Miracle Worker. So it's a full commander command. Of course, we always like that, because of course we can use then Concentrate Fire 3 and Call Emergency Artillery 3. But then we also have the added benefit of the Miracle Worker up to Lieutenant Commander. And of course, captains, I've mentioned this before, we do like the power destabilizing warp core, and if you make this a beam, you can use sensor bands and exceed rated limits. I personally like exceed rated limits, or mix armament synergy, of course, which is probably what we'll do, mix armament synergy and then destabilize with the command if we get this. It also comes with a tactical lieutenant commander, a lieutenant engineering, and an ensign psi. Then next up here, the last image here that we have from the stream is, there it is. So it was a Galax, nothing too different on top of the saucer, but it is just your kind of Galax feature. So there it is, captains. There is the 4 ships. Now, giving what I don't know. For sure, we're going to get the Prometheus. There's no doubt we're going to get the Prometheus. Going through the ships in again here now, that's all the images that we got here. Quickly, the pilot seems interesting, and I did always say it is based on the traits and console that come with it. If it sounds fun to me, even though it may not be the DPS meta-breaking traits, if it sounds fun, we're going to be possibly getting it. This Eagle sounds fun, so we might get that. It's not a bad sounding ship. We can make it work for our pew-pews. The Monitor, I think, would be kind of cool, because we can just have it as a carrier, but it's a Nebula, and then have the Valkyrie squads with it. So that's kind of something that we can work with. And of course, in terms of the stations and traits, nothing really too spectacular there for me personally. And we can make the stations work for us if we need to in any of the builds. The Prometheus, that is the one that sort of I was waiting for, and I'm kind of just I don't say disappointed is not the word, but I thought it would have at least command if you're going to saw off its nose and have those torp launchers there. But we can still make it work. We can still definitely make it work for us. And that's what we are going to do. When we get this, we're going to make it work. And, you know, it's something that is doable, and I'm pretty sure that we can still have fun with it, and we will. And plus, like I said, the Prometheus is a fun ship for us and one of our favorite in Star Trek as an overall ship in itself. And then, of course, the Sirius Command Dreadnought, something there that's on the radar. Nothing that we're going to get initially, but it is a choice there, of course, for us that we can make it work at command. Nothing too special. We already have the legendary Galax, so this would just be for the skin and the trait. And see, it doesn't really appeal to me. So this is kind of leaning on a no, personally, for me. So if anything, it might be the 3 ships out of the bundle. So there you go. Now the blog will come out tomorrow. We'll give more details on that. We'll go over it and we'll see how I feel then, and then maybe make our final decision then. But we just wanted to do this initial reaction video to this releasing today. And there we have it. We know now the stats. I'm still super excited for the Prometheus. It's not command, but doesn't matter. We can make it work. The Eagle has stepped up, actually. That's the one that surprised me, for me, in terms of me wanting it. The Nebula seems interesting still, so that's something fun to have and consider. And the Sirius here, it's not so much, because I already have the legendary Galax, so we'll make some of those decisions as we go over the blog and as the release of this bundle gets closer. I could change my mind, who knows, but the overall bundle is comparable to the 12th with the addition of the sticks because of our reaction. But again, we'll get into that probably tonight in our live stream. So as of this video, we will be going live here on YouTube. So stop by, captains. We'll have a little bit more discussion there. So there it is. There's the video. Drop a like. Let us know how you feel now, since we now know the stats of these ships, since we now know what's going to come with. Is this something that you're going to get? And rest assured, captains, we will always get back to your comments. Sometimes it might not be right away, but we will always do so. And of course, do us a favor, subscribe here to the YouTube Bridge, and we will leave it on this note.
Live long and prosper.